So where I live in Australia right now, there is a big opportunity for music fans, well, from anywhere, to take an opportunity to vote in the hottest 100 Australian songs of all time. And me being Australian and a big music guy, I'm definitely going to take part. And look, it's getting hot in here. So there we go. All right. I'm feeling like I'm able to take part much better now. All right. So what is the hottest 100? For years, it's been an annual opportunity to vote for your favourite songs from the year that's been played on the radio station Triple J. And that radio station is kind of, more of your alternative kind of stuff. But yes, now, if you're someone that's considering voting, or if you already have, you probably know that there's a little bit of, mental gymnastics potentially going on. You're wondering in one way, should I just vote songs that only I care about? But then on the other hand, maybe you're thinking about the songs that are surefire going to be the popular ones. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. I'm going to go through what are my biggest life-changing songs that have been Australian songs that have helped shape who I am today.
Well, let's start the insanity.
Okay, if I go back and think way far back to where the first song that ever made me really notice it and have such an impression on me, maybe shouldn't admit it publicly, but I don't care. This is the truth. Kylie Minogue's I Should Be So Lucky. I can't believe I've said it out loud. But look, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that song, that album. My grandma in primary school bought it for me on vinyl, and I wasn't able to use my dad's vinyl player because I was too little. He would dub the vinyls for us kids onto cassette, and then we'd listen to the cassette. So I remember thrashing that cassette out on my Walkman and on my tape player. And nowadays, it still kind of lingers on a little bit. Because if I'm playing a solo gig, I should be so lucky, 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 lucky. I should be so lucky enough. It's such a cool little ditty to just, make people sing along a little bit. I should be so lucky. Your turn. Lucky, lucky, lucky. And I never ever would have thought that a jazz medium swing version of I Should Be So Lucky would be something that would be worth ever doing. But it slaps, as the cool kids say. So I Should Be So Lucky. I wouldn't be sitting here talking about music that changed me if it wasn't for that song kicking it off. Okay, so before I get to my second song, I should just mention, yes, I'm aware I Should Be So Lucky by Kylie Minogue will not be one of the songs, surely, that you can choose to vote for in the hottest 100. But it is something that I want to mention because it was, for me in my life, it is a life-changing Australian song. So this video is going to go through my songs that have changed my life. And then after I get through that, I'm going to see about this voting process and what are the songs that I can actually vote for. But before we get to that, number two. What's my number two? It is a song called Always and Ever by Southern Sons. If I think back how impressionable this song was on me when it came out, instead of going out and playing with all of my mates in the neighborhood, I actually was just so drawn to listening to this one song on repeat. And I was in my lounge room. The curtains were drawn so that it was dark and it was just me and my Walkman. And then when I'd get to the end of that song, I'd just rewind it back to the start and I'd just listen to it. And I did that for like 4 hours straight. And I remember my dad coming in probably after 3.5 hours or something like that saying like, "Are you okay?" And I just remember thinking like, yeah, like I'm in heaven because this song, there's something about that song. I don't know if it was Jack Jones's voice. I don't know if it was the songwriting, the pop hooks, but baby, you know I always loved you from the start. I'm sure in my heart, always and ever with you. It's, not something that I would necessarily think I want to listen to that now, but if it does come on, like the nostalgia really hits and I do really enjoy it. And so I don't know what it was at the time, but I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for that song. All right, so for my third selection here, this song was huge around 91, 92. I was in sort of late primary school and I was so drawn to this band, Ratcat. So Don't Go Now was the song that really drew me into them. So it goes, well, don't go now, don't go now, don't go now. It's just a catchy ditty that deserves the recognition for being such a well-written, catchy song. Okay, so for number 4, I don't know if you can tell, I'm kind of moving chronologically here. The next band that really made an impression on me from Australia was a band called Regurgitator. And they had many a song, many an album that just completely drew me in. If I think about it, I do remember just listening on repeat this one particular song called FSO. And if I think about the effect that it had on me at that particular time, it was like a drug had taken over me. So something about Regurgitator, what can I say? I don't know if that's one of the songs that I'll be able to vote for. If not, I'm sure there'll be plenty of others. Okay, so we're in the late 90s now, and we've got to get into drop D. I'm not sure what drop D is. Your guitarist would know, but basically you're dropping the low E string from standard tuning down to a low D. And it makes it a bit heavier, a bit grungier. And so this Australian band were 1 to 2 years older than me at the time and taking the world by storm. Silverchair. You couldn't avoid being at least aware of Silverchair. You didn't have to like them, I guess, but I definitely did. They were very inspirational. And in a similar way to the Regurgitator song I just mentioned, where it was kind of like a drug listening to it, getting very emotional, this particular song called Spawn Again off of the album Neon Ballroom was about animal liberation. It wasn't necessarily my number one passionate issue in life, but the emotion of Daniel John shouting, screaming into his microphone and this cool riff. Riffs like that, guitar techniques like that, they just, they're so fun to play and crank in your headphones or on your stereo. So that is my number 5.
That's 5.
And speaking of drop D, this band was very influential on me as well. The Australian band Grin Spoon, who had plenty of great drop D riffs themselves. The song Champion. Just need one note. Oh, one extra. Out of all of their songs, that one just really makes you just want to jump up and down, and it goes off at their concerts that I've seen them play live several times. Okay, I got back into standard tuning for number 7, and I'm putting a capo on for this one because the artist known as Lior, I think out of all of the albums that I've ever thrashed, his album Autumn Flow, released in 2004, I think it was, it just, made such a huge impression on me. And if I had to pick a song, it would have been the song that drew me to buying the album. Maybe not my favorite song on the album these days, but the song This Old Love. We'll grow old together. We'll grow old together. Such a beautiful song. The rest of the album is fantastic. But so that song, This Old Love, changed my life. the song The Others by Dukes of Windsor. Wow. I remember hearing that song on the radio, driving in my car. I think I was out in the country in between doing some music teaching. And this song, I couldn't let it go. Like, I just had to keep listening to it, and the rest of the album that it came out on as well at the time. Just, fantastic. They were from Melbourne as far as I know, and had some other hits, but that one, The Others, was just, for me, it was the bomb diggity. Let's see if I can remember the rockin' outro riff. So simple yet so effective, especially with the super high tenor vocals of the lead singer of the band. Fantastic. All right, what am I up to? Number 9. Now, I did say I was going chronological. Now, I'm going chronological for me in my life. And usually when a song has been just released is when you discover a song and really get into it. Now, for me, it was the year 2010. And this particular song had a whole new meaning when I was in a cover band playing somewhere in Adelaide, and all of a sudden the lead singer of the Screaming Jets just happened to be there, and he got up to sing it with the band. And I got to say, wow, what a feeling. Like, you as a musician usually never ever get a chance to jam with the original member, let alone the original vocalist of a song, especially not a classic song. So I felt ever so privileged to have that opportunity. And then to be able to actually say that from that moment onwards, Dave and I have stayed in touch and we jam together at least semi-regularly. You may have been aware of his and my stream that we did together during COVID called Streaming Not Screaming. The song Better is just a fantastic song, regardless of my personal connection with the people from the song, because I feel like it's got everything. It's got a great drum intro. It's got a great riff. It's got a great melody in the verse. It's got a good pre-chorus. It's got the catchiest chorus that you can get a whole crowd, a whole stadium to sing along with. And it's got a double time section outro with guitar solo. I mean, come on. That ticks a lot of boxes. So the song Better is easily one of my picks. All right, so drum roll. That brings me to my number 10. And around the year 2015, there was this great Australian band called Born Lion. You may not have heard of them. I couldn't stop listening to this song, showing all of my mates, just because I fell in love with this particular song called Good Times Jimmy. Now, it's not Good Times by Jimmy Barnes and In Excess, as Google will have me think that it is every time I try to search it up. But yes, Good Times Jimmy by Born Lion. Good times, Jimmy! Let the good times roll! Such a good song. Similar to Better, it's got a lot of elements to it. A very catchy chorus, great riff, just like great energy. And yeah, it's my number 10 song of the Australian songs that have had the biggest impression of me. That's the ones that I would want to vote for if they are available to vote for on the Hottest 100. Now, speaking of which, I'm going to press pause on this video and I'm going to go and have a look inside the voting process, and I'm going to see how many of these songs can actually be eligible, votable songs. If they're not, then I guess I've got some alterations to do. So I'm going to do that in my next video, so stick around for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to know, were there any of those songs or acts that you have really connected with yourself? And were there any other ones that are worth mentioning? I could mention a ton of others, but I've just left it to 10 If you would leave me a comment below to let me know your thoughts, that'd be great. I'll see you in another one of these Crafty Music Tips videos here on the Crafty Music Tips YouTube channel. Wherever you are, just remember, whatever you're doing with your life, with your music, you don't have to do every single thing right now. Just do the next thing. My next thing will be voting. So I'll see you there in the next video. Ciao.